Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US tech stocks. We'll look at the SP and the NASDAQ first, and we're looking at the SP on the weekly chart here, and we're looking from wave 4 here up to wave 5 here, and we're looking for 5 waves in that. So we've got 1 and 2 in place, and we're going up for wave 3. So between wave 2 and wave 3, we're looking for 5 waves. We're looking for the top of wave 1 here, and when we get wave 2 pullback, then we're building in some long trades into the third of the third there in Elliott terms. So let's go in and have a closer look at that. So on the daily chart here, so we're approaching wave 1 to the top area over here, and of course, as you would understand, that going into previous highs here is going to see some resistance and sellers and profit taking and all those sorts of things coming in. We can see indicators. I've got my stochastics running pretty fast here, but it catches the turn a little bit quicker. We can also see it in other ways as well, many roads to Rome. We can see it in the volume as well. We can see this trend moving up through here. We can see the range in each bar getting shorter and shorter, and we can also see the volume diminishing as well. For a trend to be a trend, it needs increasing volume. That's not quite true. Like, it can, go up here, but it's basically going up on hot air, and all your indicators will start screaming at that point. But one way or another, it'll come to a resistance point over here. The other point too is we've got the Fed's meeting this week as well. So that's going to probably help create wave 2 in some sort of violent way. So it won't be as easy, and it's never easy as we think it is. There's always something going on. So just going from the daily chart into the intraday. So in a bit of a nutshell, we've got wave 4 here, and we've got wave 1 and 2, and then as I mentioned, we're going up for the next wave 1 here, and we want this wave 2 over here as as the buying point. Well, it won't be quite like that. We'll also see here wave 1 and wave 2 over here. So we're going to see this market somewhere up here top out. We'll have a closer look in a moment and we'll discuss that. But we'll see some sort of ABC, and then we'll see a wave 1 up, and then we'll see another ABC, and then we'll see another wave 1 up, and then we'll have an ABC, and then the same again as well. So it'll be a series of 1s and 2s, and we can do our best to build in on that scenario. And so we'll try to get that pinned down at that point. So, I mean, look, as I mentioned, you can imagine coming into the top here that, there's going to be profit taking and so on. We can see it in the volume, we can see it in the indicators, we can see it in the wave count, and that's sort of how it is. So we don't really need to be doing anything at this point. We have to wait for the top and the turn, and then pick it up, and on that we've got the funding rates coming up in 2 days' time, depending on what part of the world you're in. So we really need to be on the other side of that. And what I wanted to point out, there will be, deep buying opportunities that you could probably just go in and buy without understanding or knowing too much if the market has pulled back deeper, quite deep. But it may not pull back this deep either, but if it does pull back deep, it will give you that sort of buying opportunity. Otherwise, we'll probably, if we could pick up something in here, then we'll go for that. Otherwise, we'll look to start building in over here. If we can get a couple of positions in below the 5650 area here, and then build on top of that, because all of this here is minor group 2 here. So from 5,000 to 6,000 here, we use the Fibonacci numbers as a price ratio, so 1, 2, 3, 5, and 8, and then we use group 2 here as part of 8 here, and you can see group 2 has some legs in it, so we'll be able to use that, because what becomes resistance will end up becoming support. So if we can get 1 or 2 small positions below the 5650 and then build on top of that, and then build on top of, well, there's a whole series of numbers within group 2. Actually, it's just the skeleton of it there. And so then we'll be looking for wave 3 to the to the upside here. So 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, and then 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. This is where it will really sort of move off quite quickly at this point, It'll move quite quickly there, and, folks will start to see that. They'll start to see that it's got support here, and, the third wave's quite powerful. So hopefully we will board that train up that side. Okay, so that's that. I'll just want to explain this here too, because I've got this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. I could easily push this up higher. I could go 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 in here, but it's not lining up with stock at that point. So I just want to go into this intraday area here, and we've got wave 2 here, then we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 as we had it last time. And so we've just been looking at this moving up. Now you can see this was really strong here, and then you can start to see it creeping to the upside, and it's on more of an angle as well here. So we can see that it's getting a little bit softer. Now tops never really sort of conclude how you really want them to. I mean, they do, but most of the time they don't. So we don't have to do anything or worry about anything, because whatever happens here, I don't know if that's going to go straight up or straight down here at this point. That wave 4 is an ABC. How far that's going to go up here, I don't know. But what we will see is we will see some clear sort of correction of this particular trend, and this is the one that we need to study, and this is the one that we need to work into here. I won't be buying on the low here. I'll wait for the first impulse wave to the upside, and we'll also want most of the stock that we're following to do the same thing. Now I won't go into the intraday any further on this one. We can do that in the next video. This is the the NASDAQ, so just on the daily chart here, no change, 1 and 2, and we're going up for this 1 and 2. So between 2 and 3 here, we're looking for 5 waves. This is intermediate degree, and this is minor degree 1 and 2. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here, and we want to catch this third wave to the upside when this pulls back here. So that's that. We'll go to the intraday on this and have a quick look. So we've got wave 2 here, and we're looking to go for wave 1 up here with an ABC. Look, it could pull back to the 50-60%, which is around this sort of area here. I could even have this, I could do this differently. I've got this counted a little bit differently here in this case, because this is basically what I see stock doing, is this thing here, and then the ABC pattern. But look, because the Feds are going to be having their meeting and so on, then, this is going to get a bit ugly here, I'd imagine, So you don't want to lose money in here. I just suggest wait for the top and the turn and be patient, and we'll pick it up when we need to. So in most cases, I've got wave 1 here, and I'm just counting it a little bit differently. If I go to the intraday here, I'll have it counted differently again. I thought, yeah, I've got this updated. That's cool. So let me just get in a little bit more data here. So from this low here, in this case, I've got 1 and I've got this. Yeah, this is counted the same as the S&P. So I might lose you here a bit, but 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 and 5 waves up here for 3 and 4 and 1, 2. This could be counted a little bit differently. In here, I could have 3 and 4 here, or I could have 3 here and 1 and 2, or 1 and 2 here, and then so I don't know if I've got this little top in here just yet. I'll need to give that some thought. It might be something like this here. I'm not quite sure how this is going to finish off here and how high it's going to go, but basically, you can see that it was strong and it's sort of getting weaker here. We need to be, we need to be on this side of the fence before we make any decisions, and we won't be making any decisions quickly. So it'll be 2 or 3 sessions before we start looking to move into all of this. Okay, so with that in mind, stock is doing most of the stock is doing the same, except for a few of them, and one of them is this one here, which is Apple. So I just don't trust the move up here. It's really sort of creeping to the upside. So it's quite possible for this to to drop here. So when these markets here have this 1 and 2 to pull back here, they've, you know, bit messy there, but this pullback here for the S&P here as an example, then then it may give Apple a chance, because it's really struggling up here. You know, it's like there's no sellers but there's no buyers either, so it's quite possible for it to drop here. So any sort of move to the upside when the other guys have their final little push to the upside, I really want to get out of this trade, and we'll look to get back into it a bit later. So I want you to move out of this, and if you don't want to move out of it, what I can say is that from 220 here, we've got 21, 22 and 23. If the 22 here becomes the retested resistance, then it's going to pull it down to this one, to this level here, and we just, you know, we do want to be careful about that. So I just suggest taking money off the table as soon as possible here to protect whatever you have in this market here. And it may or may not make a new low here, and that's okay. We'll pick it back up over here as well. So this one here is not, you know, it hasn't been traveling very well, so I really want to sort of move out of that one. Amazon here, much the same thing as well. So we've got wave 4 here with 1 and 2 here, and we've been looking at this in different ways. But the main point here is we'll look to go long in this here once we got this ABC, once we got this top in play, and we've got the turn here. So we'll look at that when we get there, and there's different ways to count this up here, but in a way it doesn't matter. This whole move up is going to complete around the 190 area, 193 probably max, and then we're going to have this ABC pattern here. And you know, when markets push through the top at the 180 here, right, they're, you know, it's you know, it's pretty common for them to come back and check those tops. So when it comes back and checks those tops, then we'll move in there. And this is roughly the count. We could do it, you know, we could have wave 2 over here and do it this way as well. It doesn't really matter, but there's makes a nice 5 waves here. Doesn't really give me a nice B wave up here, but I can take it from this point here. I do have 5 waves here. I can look at this as an ABC. So I just got to tie it in with the other markets, and this is what we're looking at. So we'll pick it up back here for that. So nothing to do today or tomorrow. This is NVIDIA here. In this case here, there's no real drama. We've got wave 1 up here and wave 2 here. And we've got wave 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5. Starting to look quite good actually. This wave 4, I'm not quite sure if it's finished or not. You know, wave 4 can get a little bit ugly, but in one way or another we should be pushing up here, and then we'll have this ABC pattern here. How far it comes down, don't know. Do you want to take this money off the table here and now? I'll leave that up to you, but otherwise I mean, once this pushes up here, we'll have a clear 5 waves up here. Because we've got 5 waves here, it means we're going to get another 5 over here. It's just how far it pulls back. This will be the 50-60%, so it may or may not pull back this far. You know, we'll see. We'll just have to see how it goes. It probably wouldn't hurt to you know, take something off up here, you know, a small amount, and we'll look to get it back in over here for that. But yeah, NVIDIA's looking quite good. Meta Platforms here is looking quite good as well. We've got wave 2 here, and I can count 1, 2 here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the 3rd, 4th and 5th here. So, you know, I don't want to put wave 2 in here. I'll just have to wait and see, and you know, it might get a little bit ugly as well here. It might end up sort of pushing up here and then having an ABC pattern. I don't know, and covering this gap here and those sort of things, but we should see another move up. At that point, if you want to take some money off the table, you can. You know, it may even just, you know, if this is an A wave here and then some sort of A, B in here and a C wave coming down, it might just do this here and then move on up here. The next position we're going to add here is going to be on top of minor group 1, so 500 here, the major level 1, 2 and 3 here. Our aim is to add over here on this, so we need the first high above the level, we need a little ABC, and then we're going to be moving in again. So I don't really care what happens here. It would be nice if we can get a, get a move up here as a wave one. But we do have 5 waves here already, but at the end of the day, we need this this pattern here where we're going to have this first high here across the top of group 1 here, and then our entry will be over here. So all pretty simple at this point. We just, it's a little bit messy here, and being here would be sort of in front of the other markets, which is fine to be in front of the other markets, but we'll just give it a little bit. We don't need to do it. We've got a position. You can take some of it off the table, leave it on, doesn't matter. But we have got 5 waves here, so we're going to get another 5 up, and this is our next setup on the 530. So we don't need to worry about anything at this point. And Netflix here, so we've got wave 1 over here, all the way over here for wave 2. I'm going to look at this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 up here for 1, and ABC back here for 2. You can take some money off the table up here if you like, take all of it. We'll end up getting back into this across the B wave here, or maybe we'll build in a small position here and then start to build in across, in this area over here. But we want the top and the turn here. If we go from 100 ticks into 10 ticks here, because this market we can do that. So we got that wave 2 here with 1 and 2 here, and then we're just counting up here, little 5 waves in here, little 5 waves in here, so 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third, fourth. So this one here needs to play out a little bit further, so there'll be this here for this, and then this here. How far that comes back, don't know, but this is where we need to be. So if you're long here, you might as well take some money off the table there, and all of it if you wish, and then we'll look to get back in after the Feds have adjusted or not adjusted their rates. I mean, really, I don't know. I mean, I can't see them doing 50 basis points, but the other thing too is that, based on what I can see, 25 would be probably max. But when you think about we're going into this wave 2 here, and then we're going into this wave 2, and then we'll be pushing up into this wave 1 and 2 here. So we expect the market to be strong. So maybe it is 50 basis points, but maybe 25 could do it as well. I mean, it just needs an excuse, doesn't it? I mean, markets are pretty emotional. They just need a little pat on the back. Okay, so Google here is in its own world, but we do have 5 waves up here, so we can buy the once it tops and turns, we can look to have a bit of a trade further up here. But like I said, it's in a much bigger situation, and it's way behind in its count. I could, it's still possible to put this here as a wave 4 here, primary wave 4, in line with the other markets. All the other markets have had primary wave 4s over here, and has this up here as a wave 1 up here. So they're kind of much, they're way in front. So I'm thinking that I just don't know if how far it's gonna go. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. We're gonna get on it over here. We just got to wait for it to do its thing. It's pretty clear this is 1 and 2 here. I could probably bring this up here and look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 up here, and do this, but it doesn't really matter. I'll just wait for the just going to wait for the top and the turn, and then we'll pick it up at that point. So yeah, not sure how deep this is going to come. We'll see what it'll be interesting to see. If it comes back deep, we'll know there's not many buyers in this particular market. But if it comes back shallow into all these open and closes here, then we'll be interested in it. Okay, so over to Microsoft. So Microsoft is one that I like, and because it's taken out the top of wave 1 here. Amazon's much the same as well. So we've got wave 4 here, we've got 1 and 2, and now we're going up for 1 and 2. So you may want to take part profit in this area here, or you can just let it ride. Yeah, just depends on how much risk you want to take on board, and if because this green one here may turn red, So you might want to remove that one from this one and leave this one. And that's a nice little balance. And then we'll look to build in probably somewhere over here, and over here we'll be hitting it pretty hard over here. Okay, so that's our sort of plan with this. So yeah, take 50% off, and we'll get back in over here, and that's looking quite good. So yeah, a classic trading levels pattern on top of minor group 1 here of the 430. So that will take a while to establish. And then we come over to Tesla, and when we go to buy the others, then we'll go and buy this one here. As I've talked about many times, we want the top of minor group 1 here, the 230. Wherever you see a 3, it's going to be a group 1. It just could be micro group 1, could be subgroup 1 or minor group 1, different degrees of fractals, that's all. But basically we'll be looking to buy when we buy the others, and that will be it here somewhere. I'm not sure if that's wave 3 here or here, but it doesn't really matter. We'll just wait for this to play out, top and turn here, and then we'll look to pick it up at that point and build in. And then we come over to Bitcoin. So basically with Bitcoin, as I mentioned many times, and sorry to bore you to death, but there's new people coming and going. Trading Lounge is a bit of a pit stop to learn a few things that we do, and they move on, and all that's good, and happy to help. But this particular move here is corrective in nature, bullish corrective. So it doesn't matter what this is here, it's still going to be part of this corrective pattern here. So the whole thing is bullish corrective. I've lined this up here with wave 4 and 1 and 2 here, and 1 and 2 in line with the NASDAQ. Now that can be easily proven incorrect. I get that. I understand that. But I think it's kind of more important to sort of line all the ducks up in this particular instance. But if I was wrong, then this would be coming down here, and we'd end up having this as some sort of ABC pattern over here, and we'll have a larger wave 4 over here, as I've mentioned many times. But it's kind of looking quite good up here, from this 7th of September in most cases with stocks, or the 9th in some cases. This low here, we've been working 5 waves up, so I'll just continue to do that. Now we know that the other tech stocks are quite close to this wave 1, and then we'll be looking for wave 2 here, so that's going to be much the same. Okay, so it may present a nice buying opportunity here for the crypto heads. From day, I'm not sure what I've updated here. We'll just go to 5 and then 1. Yeah, so from this wave 2 here, this is not such a good count either, as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third, 4th and 5th. It's very close to the tech stocks as well, this one, So we'll just see how it, how she plays out. And yeah, but either way, we want some sort of top and turn over here. And we can go a safe trade on top of the B wave here, or we can get another impulse wave here and look to build in all these sorts of things. So, but yeah, if this folds down the same as the tech stocks, it's moved up here in line with the tech stocks, you know what I mean? So it's kind of, they're in tune at the moment. They can wander off from the big tech stocks, for a couple of weeks and this and that, depending on what's pushing the markets around and stuff. But generally speaking, it's in the same sort of vein. And yeah, so this will play out across the 60 here. And then group 1 above, 61, 62 and 63 here will be important. 62 is quite important in terms of geometry, because it's also 61.8% there in terms of price. So in some other way, right across in the bigger picture, it'll have a fair bit of meaning. But yeah, look, 60 is the closest, largest number. And let's see if we get it as support, because if we top and turn with the rest of the markets, then we need to be we need to start building in over here for this. Alrighty, I'll leave it at that. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good week. Cheers.